Bienvenidos a Reasons I'm Broke. Yo soy Kelli.
And I'm Daniel.
Nick, you're supposed to do it in Spanish.
Y yo soy Daniel.
Man, you speak Spanish better than me. Sí, lechugas. Hamburguesa con papas fritas.
This is not the food podcast.
But those are the only words I know. El Batman. But everyone, welcome to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we're broke, ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more. I'm Kelli.
And I'm Daniel.
For those of you joining us for the first time, welcome. The way we format our show is first we start out with some news, ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more, and we follow up with our comic book pull list of the week.
Before we jump into that, how was your week? Did you have any Kelli stories?
Man, I mean, there's lots of stories, but they're all work-related and not like...
Not something listeners would get?
I mean, no, not really. I mean, it was, this guy was dicking around at work, not doing his job. I mean, pretty much those are my stories. Very busy week. But how was your week?
I've got a story time with Daniel.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think one that Brokettes will enjoy.
We need a theme song for story time.
We do. If someone wants to make it, we'll probably use it.
Probably. That's not very encouraging.
So, a friend and I were going through my local comic shop, walking around, looking at different comics, looking at the newest things, and he was wondering if there were any Red Hood figurines. And of course, being that I work there, I was like, oh yeah, we've got Red Hood figurines. I've got one left. He's like, oh, awesome, sweet. So I bring him on over to the action figure section, and it's the Red Hood from Zero Year, from Batman Zero Year.
Okay.
And I'm like, here he is, the Red Hood. And he's like, oh, that's not Jason Todd. It was Red Hood, the one where we suspect is the Joker in Batman Zero Year. So it was just disappointment, and of course I knew which one he was really looking for, but I'm like, nope, there he is. There's the Red Hood. You asked for the Red Hood. There's a Red Hood action
love
figure.
doing that to people. Why? It's so mean.
Because it's so easy to do in the world of comics. Like, I like the Teen Titans. Oh, here they are, the Teen Titans. Oh, that's not Raven, or where's Starfire? Nope, these are the Teen Titans.
You're horrible. I would be so mad if I came into your shop and you did that to me.
That's one thing. Someone actually, I had a customer that did walk in, and he's like, do you have any of the Teen Titans comics, and not any of this new crap with the Teen Titans Go, but like the original Teen Titans, you know, the good one? I'm like, oh yeah, right over here. So I bring him on over to the new Teen Titans by George Perez, which is probably the best known Teen Titans in comics, at least. And he's like, I meant the original cartoon. I'm like, oh, not the original Teen Titans, but the original cartoon from like 10 years ago, Teen Titans.
Was it really 10 years ago?
Yeah, maybe 15. I don't know. I don't know how long it goes.
Old.
But that's what it's another one of those disappointment moments
and you
that I
love
can...
doing that. You love doing that to people.
I live off of that.
I don't
Sometimes
understand.
I don't mean it intentionally, like the Teen Titans guy. Like, that was not... I was just like, oh yeah, okay, so you mean the original stuff? Here it is. No, I meant the Tara Strong one from...
And you were so happy when he said that.
Oh, yeah,
because
of course.
You knew.
Like, yes.
You knew you had just gotten him. Ugh.
So let's kick it off with the one of two things that we're going to talk about, that people are talking about all week long. Mm-hmm. The other one we're not going to discuss, because Brokettes wanted to hear our thoughts and our experience with Back to the Future 2015, October 21st, 2015, as seen in Back to the Future 2. And we're in the future. We saw events, we saw all kinds of references to Back to the Future on all social media, Facebook, Twitter. Companies like USA Today actually brought out a special edition of their newspaper, which had a lot of the similar headlines from Back to the Future 2.
That's awesome.
Like the Cubs sweep in Game 5 or Game 7, something ridiculous. And then they also had the Jaws 19 little ad up at the top, and then Marty McFly, one of the McFlys getting arrested, just like in the film. And then we also had on Jimmy Kimmel, Doc Brown and Marty McFly actually made an appearance on the show for like a good 10-minute bit.
That's awesome.
It was awesome. It was all kinds of stuff was going on right here in our own state. Universal Studios had the DeLorean out there, and people dressed up in their gear for Back to the Future Day.
The Massachusetts police. Did you see what was it? Massachusetts? some states' police had a picture of a DeLorean that they had pulled over. They said this guy was going 88, and being Back to the Future Day, we told him he needed to slow down or go slower on the roads, and he responded with, "Where I'm going, there are no roads." And this is Happy Back to the Future Day from the whatever state police.
That's awesome.
I'm like, that's really cool.
I'm sure there's tons out there, all kinds of events in every single state. There was something special. And it was amazing to see. I know Back to the Future #1 sold out yesterday, or Wednesday, whenever, a couple days ago. And that was gone, #1, the comic book. All the variants, the main issue, absolutely gone. There's probably going to be a second printing coming. There's no way there isn't. And everyone is still looking for that issue. Everyone's looking for the newspaper. And people are buying the t-shirts, which have like all the 24-hour t-shirt places. They had Back to the Future stuff, which I thought was funny because you wouldn't have it in time for Back to the Future Day, but whatever. And the thing with the Cubs didn't happen.
No.
They did not. They're not going to win a World Series in 2015. And being from Chicago, being a White Sox fan, actually, I had no stake in this at all, other than the fact to be like, well, it'd be kind of fun, I guess, if they accurately predicted in Back to the Future 2 that the Cubs would win the World Series, and this is probably the closest we ever got, because the next round is the World Series itself, and if they had beaten the Mets, that would have been awesome. Like, there would have been a close chance, but I mean, otherwise I'm like, well, it's the Cubs. It's the slogan of maybe next year. 100 plus years, 107 years now, I think, without a World Championship.
I saw a thing also where it says, who would have predicted in 2015 that Biff and Doc Brown would be running for president? And it had, what's his name?
Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump?
Yep. It compared, like, next to him. Like, they do kind of look like them.
Whatever stretch they want to put in there.
It was great.
I know a bunch of my friends wore the Back to the Future hats, like the futuristic one. They dressed up as Marty. Did you have any other cool things like that happen at work?
No, I just saw, like, a bunch of people posting on Facebook, and, like, the beginning of the day, I'm like, this is kind of cool. I've only seen the first one, so I never saw the movie where they went to the future.
Mm-hmm. Well, the first one was the best one.
Right. Still really cool. I loved, more than that, I loved what an impact this movie made on everybody. Because it was everywhere, and to say, that people remember that small detail and everything like that was just, it was awesome. But by the end of the day, on my Facebook, I'm like, okay, guys, I get it. It's Back to the Future Day.
We just got over Star Wars and that trailer, and now we're going to talk about Back to the Future. Although of the two, Back to the Future Day is cooler than everyone agreeing or sharing that Star Wars trailer that we all saw.
But I didn't really see anything at work. Then again, I wasn't really looking for it. I'm sure there were lots of people dressed up. Most of the people went to Universal, though. I will say I saw on Facebook, and I haven't confirmed that it's true. Apparently Nike made a pair of self-lacing shoes.
They've done it in the past.
And gave the first pair to Michael J. Fox.
Nice.
Yep. And there's a picture of him wearing them. And I don't know if that's true.
He wore them on the Jimmy Kimmel bit.
Okay.
He was wearing those exact shoes.
So then, yeah. So they did make a pair of self-lacing shoes.
And like I said, they have done that in the past. I think about 7 or 8 years ago, they did like a similar pair of shoes, special edition, whatever, super expensive. And it's always nice that they try to make the actual technology from the movies. We still don't have a hoverboard, but people are doing things that kind of have a hovery-like effect, like small, what do they call it, skid rows?
No, segways.
Segways. I don't even know, what's a skid row? Is that a band?
I'm pretty sure Skid Row's a band.
So the segways, like little ones that look like a skateboard, and you can kind of go in any direction with it, so it has that sort of effect on it. But so far, not yet. We're not quite at the hoverboard stage. But that was our Back to the Future, and I'm sure there's a ton of stuff we missed as far as promotional materials, but just that goes to show the fact that for everyone it was such a special day. And to see all this stuff, finally we hit October 21st. And we did do a huge thing of it because it's never going to happen again.
Right.
Maybe there'll be another movie in the future that's as iconic as Back to the Future. Maybe they do some kind of prediction on a future day, and maybe it'll happen, probably not in our lifetime. So it was nice that we got to see at least our version of that with October 21st. We can move forward with video game news.
Yes.
This one's huge for you. I had this shared on Facebook and on our Twitter like 5 different times.
The people know me, and I appreciate all of you.
Yeah, they're very excited to show you.
Yes, and I am very excited to purchase one of these. It's the reason I'm going to be broke. the Pokemon Company has announced that starting in early 2016, fans and Kellies everywhere will be able to create their very own stuffed Pikachu at Build-A-Bear Workshop.
Last time we were this excited for an addition to Build-A-Bear was for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I was not this excited for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't know what you're talking about.
But we were excited.
I was excited, but not this excited.
You can customize Pikachu with a Pokeball hoodie.
Purchased.
A Charizard hoodie.
Purchased.
A costume or a chip that provides Pikachu sounds and more.
Purchased. It's all purchased.
The Charizard costume, though, will be exclusive to people who buy it online.
Okay, cool. Done. Bought.
You have a Pikachu Charizard now, though.
Yes.
So are you going to go with the Pokeball hoodie instead?
No, both.
And there's going to be more, I'm sure.
Well, if they do Luchador Pikachu, done.
If they do a Gengar Pikachu, done.
If they do, like, any Pikachus, done. I'm already purchasing all these Pikachu things.
What's your least favorite Pokemon of all time?
Probably one of the new ones, like the keys or the sword.
So, Key Pikachu.
Yep, purchased. Any Pikachu. Pikachu is so my favorite Pokemon that he overrides my dislike for any other Pokemon.
That makes sense.
What if they did a Bulbasaur Pikachu?
I'd buy that over the Gengar one. Bulbasaur
Yeah?
being my favorite, yeah.
What if they did a Gengar Bulbasaur?
Gengar with a little Bulbasaur bulb on it?
Yeah.
Zoltu?
What if they did a Bulbasaur, but he's purple, and he's got a Gengar face?
Sold? Because they'll probably never make that again, because I'll be the only asshole buying it.
It's a typo. Like, they printed a card wrong.
That actually reminds me, one of my players at Pokemon League, he went up, bought some booster packs, opened one, and I'm going to share it on Twitter and Facebook later on this week, but they cut the cards wrong, so they had the Florges EX, and then underneath it was the Gengar EX, but you can see where they have them all on one sheet, and then they just cut them. Well, they cut it so that the top part of the Florges EX, so the name is off, it got cut off, but then the bottom you can see the next card starting, and it's the Gengar EX. And I was like, holy shit, and he's like, what's this worth? I'm like, whatever someone will pay you for it. Like, there's not one of these out there. It could be worth jack shit, or it could be worth
shiny
100.
penny.
I would have just kept it, because that is... at least I think it's really rare to have an EX that is cut in that way, and you're never going to really find that again. So that was pretty amazing to me, and that just reminded me of it. But speaking of cards, when you do buy a Build-A-Bear Pikachu, you get an exclusive Pokemon TCG card.
Boring. I just want the Pikachu.
Not so big on the cards?
Nope. Do you want the card?
I'll take the card.
What do you pay me for? What is this card worth? Yeah, but you want the card, so now it's worth something. This is the way that life works.
Apparently.
Super excited for it, though. This is, like, the best thing they could have given me. And like I said, I will definitely be spending my money on this. Like, I want the full Build-A-Bear experience. I don't just want to go in and buy a stuffed Pikachu. Like, I'm going to get the little heart, and I'm going to make a wish into it, and put it inside my Build-A-Pikachu, and sew it up.
Build-A-Chu.
Build-A-Chu! And then I'm going to fill it up with the little fluff that spins in the big thing. And there's going to be, like, all these 5-year-olds around me looking at me, and I'm going to be like, yeah, Danny, look, I made a Pikachu! And then I'm not going to get his fluff wrong, so one ear is going to be bigger than the other. Oh, it's going to be perfect. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm excited for that too. I might record you, and maybe we'll put it up on YouTube or Twitter or something.
It'll be great. Can I wear, like, overalls when I go?
You can, and you can wear your Pikachu hat.
Yes!
That Neil gave you.
Yeah, and I'll take my Batman keychain that he also gave me.
All right, so we also have a new series that debuted online, and it's something that we had covered a couple months ago, and that is something that we finally got around to seeing, DC Superhero Girls, the series.
So I think we've watched 3 episodes now.
2 of them. There's the intro, and then the one with Wonder Woman hanging out with Harley Quinn in the dorm room.
Wonderful. So, this takes place in a high school, kind of like a prep school, where all the superheroes are teenagers and they live in this school. And so our main character is Wonder Woman, seeing how she's adjusting to not living on the mascara and all the different things. And of course her roommate is Harley, which just leads to hilarity.
Yeah, Harley Quinn is running around. She's crazy. She's screwing things up. And then there's that moment where she yells at Harley, and Harley goes off to her room, and she's like, all right, Harley, we can hang out again. And I love that the principal is Amanda Waller.
Yes.
How fucking cool is that?
Perfect.
that was amazing. I was like, yeah, motherfucking big ass Amanda Waller. It's not even
motherfucking bitch, I ain't fucking with you.
It's not even the New 52 skinny Amanda. It's the big ass Amanda Waller, the one we all want.
The people's Amanda Waller.
Yes. And they aged down all the other characters too. So you have teenager Hal Jordan, and you've got Starfire regular, and then you've got teenage Nightwing, I think I saw. Maybe it might have been Robin. All the superheroes, and I'm sure they're going to make different debuts. Batgirl as, not even really Oracle, as Barbara Gordon. She's the only one that I kind of wish they kept her as Oracle, because then you could have had a character in a wheelchair, and I'm sure that would have done lots for someone out there, a young girl that is in a wheelchair. But I do want to talk about the series, because I did hear this guy, he was like, I didn't really care about that DC superheroes show. It didn't really do it for me. And I'm like, dude, you're like 40-something years old. Of course not. It's not even made for guys like me either. But, I'm watching it and I'm enjoying it. It's kind of like, as Christopher pointed out, too, he's one of our listeners at the Irish on Fire, My Little Pony. Sort of the same experience, right? It wasn't initially made for older men, and then now, like, bronies are a thing and young girls still watch it, and it's like, okay, well, if they're enjoying it too, we're just going to keep making it and keep doing our thing. So with DC Superhero Girls, it does have sort of that same thing where you do see that it is for younger girls.
Of course, I don't even know why you'd be like, not for me. I'm like, no, it's not for you. Still a lot of fun though. I think girls will really, really enjoy it. I love to see when they do things like this for girls, because a lot of times you think of comics and superheroes and you think, oh, that's just for boys. But there's some amazing female characters out there. So this is so smart to appeal to girls, especially to put it online, and the amount of time that each episode is. It's absolutely perfect. Brilliant idea. I'm really, really enjoying it.
Do you think this would have done better on television, or do you think it's better that it is like a little short online thing?
I think a little short online, because how much television is really being watched? Like, okay, yes, I get a lot, but compared to teenagers on their phones.
Or on the computer.
Or on the computer, exactly.
On their tablets.
Exactly. So much now has gone to internet-based watching. And so I think this is the perfect place for that, because on your lunch break, you pull out your phone, you watch the little 5-minute episode. Or you get home from school and you're, like you said, on your tablet, 5-minute episode. Rather than having to sit down in front of the television and pull it up and search through all your DVR and everything. Very accessible.
And it's good for all ages, so any brokeheads out there that are parents, it's definitely safe. Check it out, and if anything, out of curiosity, just to see how they're sort of changing the characters, even some of the girls who are villains, I guess, like Poison Ivy, it's like, well, not here. Maybe they're going to build them up later on, but everyone's kind of more innocent here than they are in the main DC universe. So that, to me, was interesting to see. Also, the costume redesigns. I definitely want to check that out, and I did. And you can check the background. Like, you can pause the show and be like, oh, look, there's Cyborg in the background and all these other characters. Starfire, they made her a little bit more modest.
Cover her up a little bit more.
So all of that is in there. It's I think it's DCSuperheroGirls.com. But if you just go on YouTube, you can actually subscribe to an individual channel just for that show.
Moving into some video game news, Rocksteady has revealed the rest of its slate of Arkham Knight DLC. Here are some of the highlights.
I think this comes off of the fact that there's still negative reaction to the DLC and disappointment, including from us. So they're just like, look, guys, this is everything that's coming now. Hopefully we can get a couple more sales out of this. So kicking it off with the October release, so this month, we've got the Batman Classic TV Batmobile Pack, along with classic TV skins for Catwoman and Robin.
Okay.
The 1970s Batmobile skin. 6 AR challenges and character selection in AR combat challenges. That's one of the bigger things that people have been asking for, including myself. I want to play as other characters during certain combat challenges, such as the never-ending combat one, in which I can stay at for hours and just fight as different characters.
Okay, so October, some good things. Moving on into November, we have Batman v Superman skins for the Batmobile and for Batman.
Smart.
Very smart. Arkham episodes, Catwoman's Revenge, and a Flip of a Coin, which stars Robin.
Not as excited for those because they haven't been that good.
Tim Drake skin for Robin, and a Robin-themed Batmobile.
Robin will be in a Batmobile. Why not?
Okay. 6 AR challenges. and character selection in AR Predator challenges.
Right, so those are the stealth missions that you can now select any other character to play as. So finally, December, for the rest of 2015, 4 missions, which are the ones that they've been promising since they first did the DLC. Beneath the Surface, features Killer Croc. In From the Cold, Mr. Freeze, of course. Wonderland, you beat up Mad Hatter. And the last one, Shadow War, featuring Ra's al Ghul. That I'm most excited for. That one I'm like...
Those are all
fine.
Pretty awesome.
I'll be excited for this DLC, but I'm not going to be happy about it.
Okay, internets. You're also getting a Batman skin from the 2008's The Dark Knight.
That's the one that ended up winning the voting. So they did not end up doing both skins as you predicted. They just went with the Dark Knight.
Fine.
The most popular of the two.
You're going to get an Arkham Asylum Batmobile skin and 6 more AR challenges.
So the Batmobile skin from Arkham Asylum, that's one thing that they kind of teased us with in the first game. Like, here's the Batmobile, and it's getting broken up by these thugs, and you never got to drive it. And that's probably where people kept asking for the Batmobile. Like, why can't I drive the Batmobile? It's just there. Well, now you'll be able to drive the Arkham Asylum Batmobile as you saw it in that first game. So that's kind of neat.
Pretty cool. They still should have done animated series Batmobile.
Or skins.
And anything.
Or Harley Quinn's costume from the fucking Batgirl DLC.
Yes.
That it's right there in the game. And just fucking put it in there. Let me play as Harley Quinn Classic.
Hopefully, they probably won't make any more than this.
No, they're probably done. They're like, fuck you guys. You're not going to buy this DLC anyway.
No.
This is it. So what do you think about the range of villains? We got Killer Croc, Mr. Freeze, Mad Hatter, and Ra's al Ghul.
I mean, it's all a great lineup. We saw Mad Hatter a few games ago.
Yeah, in Arkham City, so before Arkham Origins.
That was like fucking chilling. It
was awesome.
That was great. It was terrifying. So if they could do something like that again, perfect. Killer Croc, we've seen a little bit of him. I would love to see more because he's really, really cool.
We haven't had a full fight with him either. In Arkham Asylum, you have to dodge him in the sewers.
Okay.
And I don't think we ever actually got into a fist fight with him in Arkham City.
Huh. I think you're right. So this would be the opportunity to do that, which is awesome. Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze is always great.
That was one of the best boss battles in any of the Batman games, where Mr. Freeze is this huge presence, and rightfully so, like in the animated series where this version of Mr. Freeze came to life. You couldn't just run up and beat the shit out of him like Batman, I guess, would. You have to use different takedowns. Like, I think it was 6 takedowns.
Yeah.
And every time you use, like, okay, well, I'm going to use the gargoyle takedown. He destroyed the gargoyle, so that was gone. Well, I'm going to use the grates. Okay, he destroyed the grate, so that was gone. So you'd have to use different types of takedowns to try to stun him and then beat him up. That was amazing. People loved it. And if they can pull that off again in a similar manner, it's going to be great.
And then finally, Ra's al Ghul, of course, your favorite guy.
Yes.
Now, the question is, does it take place pre-Arkham City?
It's going to be
during
tough.
This game, because they kind of alluded that he was dead, but not dead.
With the ending to Arkham Knight, it's gonna be hard either way to have any of these take place after the game, due to the ending. If any Brokettes have beaten it, so it's got to be before you get to the end of Arkham Knight. And if it's Ra's al Ghul just propositioning to Batman, like, take over the League of Assassins,
take over my body.
I'd be okay with it. I'm like, fine, that's what he does. That's all Ra's wants. He only wants one thing.
Turns into that scene from God of War where you gotta, like, push the buttons to sleep with him.
Yeah, I was drinking something when you said that.
You're like, this DLC just got so much better.
Either way, they better do Ra's al Ghul right. Get the voice actor from Arkham City. I'd be okay with it. Even if it's just a sword fight. I just don't want it to be like another illusion thing like in Arkham City, where you have a billion assassins and it's kind of like a Scarecrow mission. Have me actually fight Ra's al Ghul. Those are, the hand motion that she's doing now. I wasn't doing dicks in the face motion. I was doing the swords, like, fighting away the assassins. Although it might be the same thing. Like, he's like, no dicks.
No dicks.
Although it's Kevin Conroy, no dicks for me. Just pushing them all away. You're done, Raish.
I like this DLC so much more if that's what that was.
It's not even going to be that cool either.
No, it's not.
Dicks in the face, Ra's al Ghul. No, that's not going to happen.
No, not at all.
Rocksteady does not have the balls.
Does not have the balls to put dicks in face. I love this. So, all of these sound great. Most of these sound great. But let us know what you guys think on Twitter at Reasons I'm Broke. Let us know what your favorite thing is. Let us know if you think there will also be dicks in the face for this Ra's al Ghul mission. The answer should be yes.
So, continuing with superhero stuff, we actually finally got to see the Avengers Age of Ultron.
Yes.
The sequel to my least favorite of the Marvel movies.
Yes.
I was obviously not going to pay to see it in theaters.
Yes.
One of my friends, he's like, hey, I do own it. If you want to borrow it, I was like, sure, I'll watch it for free. And you and I checked it out. Mm-hmm. Do you want to go with your thoughts first, or?
Sure, I can go ahead and go with my thoughts, because I think they'll be a little nicer than your thoughts.
Probably, because you did tear up during one of the scenes there.
I didn't tear up. I don't know why. I yawned because I was exhausted. And then there were yawn tears in my eyes. And you're like, oh, Kelli, don't cry. And I was like, why the fuck is he telling me not to cry? Because I'm not crying.
All right, then. Go ahead.
Okay. So, I kind of felt it was all over the place.
It was until the middle. We're in Hawkeye's house, and then it took a standstill for a good half hour.
Yeah, I don't know. They brought in aspects that kind of came out of nowhere. I felt, man, I don't even know, because, of course, for me, story is the most important thing. If you tell a great story and get me to connect to somebody, like, I'm set, I'm golden. But they didn't do that with anybody. Like, I didn't feel connected to anybody, and then they were doing things, and I'm like, oh, well, I wouldn't have done that, but okay, I guess that's what you're doing. I don't know, it still wasn't that great.
Which one did you like more, the Avengers or the Avengers Age of Ultron?
I don't even... man, I guess Age of Ultron, only because the Vision was real cool.
Yes, he was. I will say also, I liked Age of Ultron more than the first Avengers, so the Avengers remains my least favorite of the Marvel movies.
Yes.
Vision was cool.
Yeah.
Hella cool. He had these moments in which he's like, yeah, humans are assholes, they're shitty, we're gonna outlive them, but enjoy their blunders. Like, there's some charm to what they do.
They're so silly, ha ha ha.
Might as well have been what he said.
They're like little ants.
And Ultron was like, well, no, they're a waste of time, and he wants to get rid of them because...
Why was he even angry? He's... Okay, whatever.
Well, his mission was peace, ultimate peace. So it went too far where he's like, well, we can't have peace with humans in the world because they're a contradiction onto themselves. They want peace, but they are the most violent things on the planet. So it's like... So he's like, the only way to have peace and to carry out the mission is to eradicate all of them. So that I mean, it makes sense. It's sort of true. Like, if you want peace, just get rid of them all.
I still feel like it came out of left field. Like, he woke up from nothingness and he was like, let's kill people.
His mission. It was all his mission. I bought it. It was fine. Some people were saying online that Ultron was too filled with emotion to be a robot. And I didn't have a problem with that, to be honest with you. Like, he was super intelligent, so he would have artificial intelligence. He would have some emotion. Sentient, exactly. And he was created by Tony Stark. So he had some mannerisms from Tony Stark, and he had some of the same personality issues, which one of the characters even brings up, and he's like, you're like Tony. And he's like, don't ever compare me to that motherfucker. And it's like, Jesus, you really are like Tony, is what I would have told him. His head would have blown up, and he would have died, and I would have saved the day. Dan
saved the world, and nobody even knew.
Just by saying, Jesus, you really are like Tony Stark.
Credits.
So I had no problem with Ultron at all. He was it Robert California in The Office?
Yeah. I still think he was, I don't know, I want to call him the Mysterious Sir, but I know that's not him.
He was pretty cool in The Office, and he was awesome in Age of Ultron. The rest of the heroes, exactly like you said, it's like, why do we care if they succeed or not? We have this relationship between the Hulk and Black Widow, which came out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. I did not expect it. Everyone, like me and everyone else on the internet, I expected it to be Black Widow and Hawkeye, because they had somewhat of a connection in the first film. Not so much Hulk and Black Widow, and in this one it's like, oh, she's the one who calms them down, and they both consider themselves like...
monsters.
I guess so. And
for whatever reason...
Well, what they were saying in the way that it was written, was that Black Widow considered herself a monster because she was trained as an assassin to kill people, not because she couldn't have kids. But the way that the scene played out, it made it seem like she called herself a monster because she couldn't have kids, and that's where people had a problem with it. And I can understand why, because that scene did play out in that way. And that's probably my biggest problem with the movie, aside from the story, was the fact that this editing was worse than in the Avengers. Some of the jokes, they didn't linger enough for like, oh, there's the joke, you gotta let it land and done. And they would immediately cut to something else. And I was like, that was kind of, yeah, I was even pointing out to you, I was like, what was that? That was kind of weird. They cut that a little short. And it was like that throughout the entire movie with the action and the special effects even. I thought the movie had a smaller budget because that opening scene, all the ragdoll physics and every single, like we saw that in Avengers, but it was like all over the place on this one. And I was like, did they get a cut down on budget? What's going on here? The Hulk somehow looked worse than in the first movie. So just a lot of little weird things like that just didn't fit right in this one. Captain America, I guess, was all right. We saw some hints of him and Tony's conflict.
Oh, they're going to say relationship. I'm like, I missed that part of the movie.
And I will give him credit, though. Cap did look way better in this than he did in the Avengers.
Only because they changed his costume.
Yeah, they didn't have like goofy blue and bright red one that Joseph Whedon decided was better in Avengers. I did want him to keep his classic look from Winter Soldier, which was probably the highest rated of the Marvel movies. And it was really good. But I guess he had his Avengers suit, and this is what he's going to use in the Avengers movies. Maybe he'll go back to his classic in Captain America 3 Civil War, which I'm really excited for because the last two Captain Americas have been awesome. But otherwise, I don't know. It was I won't see it again. It wasn't as bad as Avengers. It was probably better than Ant-Man, I would say. I would say I enjoyed Guardians more than this.
I would agree with that. I
saw Guardians twice, and that was enough for me, but I probably won't see Avengers again. So yeah, Guardians is better. Still not as good as Captain America's, either one of them. And that's basically it. I guess we're both left kind of empty inside.
Not as empty as when I saw The Room, but yes, it was a little empty inside. I was kind of like, like it was a movie that I didn't make you pause if I had to get up from the couch to go do something.
Yeah.
That's the kind of movie, like background noise. Mm-hmm. It's pretty much what that movie was. But, it made money and a lot of people liked it, and it's getting people into comics.
There you go.
Can't complain too much.
So these movies get their ideas straight from the comics, and that's actually where we're heading into with the solicitations.
Mm-hmm. So we have DC's January solicitations, because, come on, DC's awesome and the best. Go read more DC.
Especially because they're not making money.
And they have Batman.
They have $2 million to make up.
Stop. They probably have, less than that now.
They will once Dark Knight 3 releases, yeah.
So, for a full list, head over to newsarama.com, but here are some of our personal highlights.
So I know a lot of brokettes out there were kind of sad when Green Lantern and the Lost Army got canceled, but it's actually going to continue with Green Lantern Corps Edge of Oblivion #1. The solicitation reads, picking up where Green Lantern Lost Army left off, as the universe around them reaches entropy, the Green Lantern Corps must find a way home. Or as I hear it a lot, the Green Lantern Corpse.
The corpse.
It's the Green Lantern Corpse. Yep, that's them. The corpse. The one corpse. Sinestro Corpse. Yep, no, he never died. Actually, he did die a couple times.
What if they called it the Black Lantern Corpse?
Then they'd be okay. I'd be like, well, that works, because it could mean either one.
Next up, we have Poison Ivy, Cycle of Life and Death. This is a 6-issue mini-series.
So people have been asking for a Poison Ivy comic.
So they're testing the waters with this mini-series. Solicitation reads, Life, Death. Poison Ivy has power over both. But can she keep her friends and hold down a regular job at the same time? This is a lame-ass solicitation.
What are you talking about? Poison Ivy, you can explore that. She's a villain.
I mean, I get that, but it seems...
And she has good intentions.
But it seems so light. It feels like a high school drama.
Maybe
that's what it sounds like.
We need a comic that explores Pamela Isley. And I hope this is it.
I get that. Cool. But you couldn't come up with better than, can she keep her friends and hold down a regular job?
No one's reading these solicitations
I read the solicitation. I just fucking read that solicitation.
No one's going, oh, well, I'm going to not get this now because of this. No, if people want Poison Ivy, they're going to fucking get this.
They could have just been like, a Poison Ivy comic. That would have been better than the solicitation.
To be honest, most Poison Ivy fans that I see on Tumblr asking about the Poison Ivy... Right now, I bet you I can go to Tumblr, type in hashtag Poison Ivy. People are going to be asking for the Poison Ivy comic, and I'll be like, you guys know it is coming, like in January. And they're going to be like, what? Where? I went to my comic shop and it wasn't there. That's what's going to happen. Most of the Poison Ivy fans are going to just walk into the comic shop and get it from the stands. They're not going to reserve it from previews. They're not going to see it online and be like, oh, let me reserve one at my LCS.
Okay, regardless, whatever. I would have come up with a better thing than this. I'm just saying. Like, don't half-ass it.
Here's something you'll like. Something that'll cool you down.
Fine.
Starfire number 8.
Woohoo!
The cover shows Dick Grayson and Starfire, Corey, kissing.
Finally!
While I wait for Kelli to get back up, the solicitation reads, Starfire has tackled some big threats during her stay in Key West, from hurricanes to intergalactic bounty hunters, from insane murderers to gargantuan monsters from the deep, and everything in between. But our hero's biggest challenge may be choosing between an ex and a new love interest.
Choose a new love interest. Wait, no, is he the ex or is he the new... Choose Robin!
What about that guy that she was having drinks with? He might be better for her. I guess it's...
Nope. Robin.
All right. She prefers the dick.
Yeah.
You know how many artists actually put that there? Like, here's a dick pic, and then it's just like a picture of Nightwing, like a sketch. Here's another dick pic, and it's like Dick Grayson. Like, they do that fucking pun.
Love it. These people are brilliant. Where are they? They need to be my best friends.
Here's a dick pic of his butt. And I'm like, wait, what? And I click, and I'm like, oh, it's Nightwing's butt. It makes sense.
Wait. So you didn't know it was Nightwing. It just said dick pic. So you decided to click on it?
Who wouldn't from that tweet? Here's a dick pic. And his butt. Like, who would not click on that?
What if it was a dick, and then they drew a butt on it?
I'm like, oh shit, that's not Dick Grayson. I've been fooled by this comic book Twitter.
Very excited for Starfire. Always love Starfire. Always love Starfire and Robin together because they're adorable. This is why I read fan fiction, for these moments. And they are giving me fan fiction.
And I do like that the comics are now playing with the fact that it's like, his name is Dick. Like,
yes.
Remember, what was that one in Grayson where that lady was having sex with Dick Grayson? She's like, oh, Dick. Do you remember that?
No, I don't, but that's great.
And you were like, really, guys? Really?
Well, I changed my mind. I like that now. That's funny. I would have done the same shit. It's like I told you about the guy that I work with whose name is Dick, right?
No.
And his last name? No, okay, so there's this old man, and his name is Richard, but he chooses to go by Dick. And after I tell you his last name, it makes total sense, because I would go by Dick as well. Seaman. His name is Dick Seaman. Correction, his name is Richard Seaman, but he chooses to go by Dick Seaman.
I'm 5. I'm a 5-year-old.
I love him.
Awesome.
I heard this name, and I'm like, sir, you are amazing. You are my new hero.
I'd go by that, too.
New hero in life.
His parents were badasses, too. Like, his name is Richard Seaman, and hopefully he realizes that it's Dick Seaman.
I want him to have a brother named Peter. A sister named Virginia. I could go on for days. This is great. So our final solicitation that we are very excited for is Sinestro number 19. In an attempt to bolster his defensive line, Sinestro has dispatched yellow rings across the world, adding many heroes and villains to the ranks of the Sinestro Corps. Sinestro Corps.
So the cover to Sinestro 19, it shows Deathstroke, Harley Quinn, Red Hood, Wonder Woman, and Superman gaining yellow rings.
Superman's probably like, no, Batman won't like me if I have a yellow ring.
That is actually what he's yelling. He's like, no! He's just trying to take it off. So is Wonder Woman.
That's not Batman's ring!
It's not our engagement ring.
Stop proposing to me!
My heart belongs to another! Yes, let your fear take you over.
No! I'm scared he won't love me!
That's his greatest fear?
Yes. It's the only thing Superman's scared of.
And he overcomes it with his love, so that's why he'd make a great Sinestro Corps member.
He'd make a great Pink Lantern. What are you talking about? Filled with love. Can he wear like a little belly shirt too? would be amazing.
So what do you think about that? Like, you have this cameo for all these characters. So do you think they're just going like, let's have all these guys have yellow rings and see what they look like?
I think that's a great fucking idea. I mean, yes, that's probably what they're doing. Like, if we put Harley Quinn in here and all these guys will get more followers. But I mean, it's really fucking cool to see all these guys together, and that particular group, of course, you have two villains, like an anti-hero, and then two heroes, and then you have Sinestro who's gonna watch over them like, so you get all of them together. It's bound to be a good time. I would love to see this as like a 6-issue miniseries. Like, let's run with it for a while. We can explore all these different characters coming to work together towards a common goal and understand each other a little bit more. And then in the end, you can have that moment where the villains are doing villain things, and then the hero's like, I'll let you get away this time.
Do you think they're trying too hard to capture that magic that we saw when Batman had his own Sinestro Corps ring and he was a Yellow Lantern for a second?
Any magic that Batman brings to life can never be recaptured in any other thing. So they're not even trying because they know that they can never achieve that.
So Deathstroke, Harley Quinn, Red Hood, Wonder Woman, and Superman. Who do you think would make legitimately the best Yellow Lantern?
Wonder Woman.
You think she can put fear into other people more than Red Hood, more than Deathstroke?
Yeah. The thing about Wonder Woman is, out of all these people, she's been raised to be a warrior. So she understands fear, not just fighting head on, but I'm sure she understands fear tactics as far as psyching out the enemy, because that's half the battle, is making your enemy scared of you. Whereas the others, they're all scary, but they don't know the ways to really put fear into people.
I see you're Wonder Woman, and I raise you a Red Hood who was trained by Batman, who puts fear into the heart of criminals.
Okay.
Boom!
I see your Red Hood, and I point out that he's still Robin.
No, Dick Grayson is Robin. He's Jason Todd.
No, he's still Robin.
He's Jason Todd. He's the Red Hood. And he was trained by Batman to put fear into the heart of criminals. Now, trained by Batman... or Wonder Woman, who also puts fear.
Okay, now let me ask you another question. Is Wonder Woman a whiny bitch?
No.
Is Red Hood a whiny bitch?
Yes.
Okay. Whiny bitches can't put fear in nobody. Because if they're not scared, he's going to be like, why aren't you scared?
Red Hood kills people, though. He just kills them when he gets frustrated.
Wonder Woman kills people.
All right, well, I'm just saying, when he starts whining, he starts blowing people away.
So people are going to be laughing as they die, like, you're a whiny bitch.
Can't get out of Batman's shadow.
Why couldn't he save me?
Whines after the guy's already dead.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ, Jason, get over yourself. I'm tired of your shit.
Fears in puppies, maybe.
So with the January solicitations, we also learned the new variant theme for that month. And it's one that was catered to you.
To me, just for me.
Yeah.
They met me and they said, we need to make this for her. But I haven't talked to anybody about this recently, so I don't know how they would know that. This is creepy. So, January variants. There will be 25 line art covers from some of the biggest names, like Mike Allred and Freddie Williams II, meaning coloring book covers. Woo!
Coloring book variants.
Color pages.
Color fucking pages.
Color pages. And you know what? I want all 25 of them.
They are calling them adult coloring books, coloring pages, because they're actually more complex than what you would see in like a child's coloring book. Like, some of these artists, I'm like, you guys were being assholes. Like, you expect someone to color all of this? Even Mike Allred's like that alien with all the intestines and all that shit. And I was like, so that's going to take fucking days.
Yep. TCO'd.
DC is also releasing special edition color pencils for the color.
You didn't tell me about the color pencils.
I just learned about it today. Today,
Okay, but did you learn about it in this very moment when you just told me about the color pencils? No, you learned about this hours ago, and you did not send me a text that said, yo, Kelly, color pencils. So I could be like, yo, pre-order that bitch for me.
Do you color better in color pencils or crayons?
I color better in all the color things.
It doesn't matter what it is.
Yes, I just love color things.
So you want the color pencils?
Yes.
All right.
And
it's only like 8 colors or 16
colors. I don't care. I want the color pencils.
Fine.
And if they have color crayons, I want color crayons too.
Did any of the DC coloring book covers stand out to you?
All of them.
Any in particular that you really wanted to cover?
All of them.
Every single one. There were some that I was flipping through and you're like, nah, whatever.
Which one?
Like the Cyborg one.
I'd color it.
The Wonder Woman one.
I'd color it.
The Red Hood and Arsenal one.
I'd color all of them.
All right. So if I get you some of these color book variants,
yes,
you better color them.
I'm going to color them. And then we can give them away to a listener.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
I'm
yes,
so smart.
let's do that. Let's do that. All right, listeners, she promised.
I did.
See you guys in 2 months when we do a giveaway for this.
Yes. I'm going to color a color book and I'm going to give it away. We're going to have to think of like a comment or something that makes you win the color pages.
Yeah, we'll do like a retweet or maybe two. Maybe we'll do one for the Patreon supporters and one for the retweets.
Yes, but if I don't like what you say, I'm giving you a crappy color page. Like everything's in brown.
That's racist.
But did you like a whole page of brown?
If it's, you know...
Fine, I'll make it all yellow.
Well, if it's Sinestro, that works too. We'll do, and you'll have to sign it. We'll do signed, line art, colored giveaways for Kelly.
Yes.
And for Brokettes.
Colored pages.
So the bit of Marvel news that we do have comes in the form of a question of the week from Twitter user @CubanSlim. Cuban Slim.
Cuban, yes.
I screwed that one up.
Get that right. Screwed it up again.
A little too much rum.
So @CubanSlim asks, what is the future with Marvel Comics given the massive blunder of a delayed Secret Wars, releasing their new #1 books now, and raising the price of books to $4.99? Opinions, thoughts, ideas.
DC did this when Forever Evil released.
Yes.
We saw books that came out and they took place after Forever Evil, releasing before Forever Evil #6 ever came out, which was delayed, I want to say, about a month and a half. Mm-hmm. And it was bad because we were like, readers don't care anymore, like they lose interest like that. It's quick. If you delay your book, readers will know. If you raise the prices, on the other hand, too, readers definitely know. So the first thing we'll touch up on here, delayed Secret Wars. That is definitely a problem.
Yes.
Like we have #1s out on the shelf right now, and there's 9 issues of Secret Wars now. It used to be 8, now it's going to be 9. I don't know why. because of the delay. Maybe they need to tell extra story. Maybe some artist didn't put up his bit. Who knows what it is? But there's a delay. There's #1s out there that take place after Secret Wars. That, to me, in my mind, if I'm a reader, says Secret Wars is not that important to me. Secret Wars is not that important to the rest of the stories because, oh, well, here's these new #1s. In the meantime, when you catch up to Secret Wars, fine, but here's these stories.
My thoughts on what's going to happen? Let's be real, they're going to continue to make money, and Kelly will continue to say, who cares about Marvel books? I mean, it's real shitty that they delayed. It's real shitty that they raised the price. But especially with Disney backing Marvel right now and all the movies coming out, they're going to continue to make money.
All put together, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has made $9 billion.
Okay, there we go. Done.
And that's going to help the Marvel Comics just a little bit. We've seen it. People see the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. They want to pick up the Guardians of the Galaxy comic.
Right.
The Groot comic, the Rocket Raccoon comic. It all comes right back to it.
And the thing is, if they continue to write them well, like, even, so $4.99 now, that's still...
It's a 25% increase.
Right, correct. But that's still something that somebody would be willing to spend one time to see if they liked something. So you've just seen Guardians of the Galaxy. You walk in, you see the comic book, you say $5? I'll spend $5 to see if I like it. And then they have that one book to either catch you or not. And once they've caught somebody, $5 a month really isn't that much. Like, yeah, it sucks they're raising the price. But if it's something you really enjoy, I would pay $10 every issue for Saga. Easy.
I definitely agree if you're referring to casual readers. Now, here's the one bit of advantage that I have, and that I work in the industry. I call it the industry. I work in retail, where I sell funny books to people, right? It's comics. And for the long-time readers, for the subscribers, they're the ones I feel like they're hurting the most with the delays, because to them, they are the ones like looking forward to Secret Wars #7. They're the ones like, okay, when's this one coming out? I'm sorry, I got delayed again, December 9th, or whatever it may be. The $4.99 books, I will tell you straight up, they're complaining. Like, they're like, $4.99? Jesus Christ. And they're noticing that it's $5. One of my coworkers, actually Rick on the Read Pile, his theory is that Marvel Disney is saying, well, let's try to take all the money because people are on a budget, so let's have them buy our $5 comics, and maybe they won't have enough for the IDWs or the Image or the DC.
Assholes.
It's business. Like, that is a business strategy, one of many. So with raising prices to $4.99, that could be one of the things. Now, the one thing I am noticing is when you are the top dog in comics, which is Marvel right now, $4.99 a comic isn't going to be as big of a deal as, let's say, DC when they raised their Batman book to $4.99. That was a huge deal. People bitched. They said, bring it back down to $3.99, and they immediately did. Because they are not top dog. They're like, whoa, hold on. We just keep buying our comic. Whereas Marvel can be like, so what? Like, it's not going to affect us. You're still going to buy the book.
It's $1.
Yeah, that's with that position that they have. And I definitely sympathize with people that are like, it's fucking $5 for a fucking comic. Definitely so. And we talked about this a month and a half, 2 months ago, where we don't want $4.99 to be the standard. And yes, eventually it will be due to inflation, but it's too soon, I feel like. $4.99 for a comic book is way too soon. Especially, like, yes, comics are back, they're hot again, they're not making as much money as they did in the 90s, but they're still on the upswing as compared to, like, before the New 52 or something like that, where it's like, people aren't really buying these things, we don't have these movies out, but you have this advantage. Why are you like, I don't know, I don't want to say killing it, but they're taking too much advantage of the fact that comics are hot right now and you can charge $5 for it. So I definitely agree that portion of it is not good.
It is what it is. I think Marvel's still going to continue to be successful, even with the delays and the price raise.
For the next, you had predicted what, the next 5 years is when the movies are going to be hot, and then it's going to continue into comics before we start seeing them hit the ceiling?
The decline? Yeah, between 5 and 10 years until we start to see a decline again. But, we'll enjoy the ride until then and not pick up any Marvel books.
Well, we're getting Silver Surfer, we're getting Howard the Duck, we're getting Squirrel Girl, Spider-Man, Miles Morales. So we're getting like 5.
Oh, well, okay.
Compared to like the 20 DC ones. Yeah, no. Why? Because of Batman.
We get Batman and Batman and Batman and Batman's like in the shadows in this one. Let's pick it up.
Look, Disney, if you want our money, buy Batman.
Yeah. They would have all our money.
So before we move into our comic book reviews, we do want to talk about our sponsor, Dr. Phillips Center at the Walt Disney Theater.
On Friday, December 4th at 8 p.m., you can see Pokemon Symphonic Evolutions.
Any Brokettes in the Central Florida area can join us for this show, this concert. Pokemon Symphonic Evolutions has become the must-see video game concert of the year, very true, giving fans and newcomers of all ages a chance to experience the evolution of the Pokemon franchise like never before.
Tickets start at $25, and you can purchase these at www.drphillipscenter.org.
Tickets are going fast, though, so get on that as quickly as possible. If you're afraid of, like, well, only the balcony seats are left, don't worry. The way that the Walt Disney Theater is built is you can actually hear the orchestra from every area. They all of this was conscious as they were building it. So even if you get the balcony seating, you'll be fine. They have a big screen. They play the Pokemon graphics, Pokemon scenes in there to go along with the music.
That's so cool.
So it's going to be an awesome, awesome time. Once again, that's www.drphillipscenter.org.
And we do want to give our Patreon shout out of the week. This week it is Neil, whose Twitter handle is at MattZ68.
And MattZ68, who gave you your Pikachu hat.
Yes.
We'll never forget that. We'll never stop thanking you for it.
And gave me my Batman bottle opener.
There you go.
Keychain. Mine, not yours.
Who I've used more often than you.
But it's still mine.
That's fine, as long as I keep using it.
I just share with you.
Okay.
That's what good wives do.
If you want your shout out, Patreon shout out of the week, head on over to patreon.com/thereasonsimBroke. If you want to support us with your wallet, as little as $1 a month, that's 25 cents an episode. If you just listen to the podcast every single week, that will get you the shout out on the podcast. And for $5 a month, after 3 months, you get a decal. And we do have supporters on that level as well. And as we aim towards the Alphonic goal, which is the next one, again, you can check out the details at patreon.com/thereasonsimbroke.
We'd like to point out, though, that our podcast will always be free. This is just a way you can support us so that we can make it a little bit better for you guys. But if you say, you know what, I'm just as broke as you, I just want to listen, that's all that we need. We put this show out for you guys. It's fun for us. It's fun to hear comments from you guys as well.
Moving into comics, comic book reviews, we've got 4 indie books and 5 DC books along with a DC collectibles.
Yeah.
That is fucking the thing I've been waiting for all year. So I'm getting too excited. First one.
First, we have Adventure Time Fiona and Cake Card Wars, number 4 of 6. This is written by Jin Wang with art by Britt Wilson, and the colorist is Ryan Sig.
So Adventure Time with Fiona and Cake feels a little bit stretched out. But I do feel like they're exploring, again, they're continuing the relationship between the two characters, which are Fiona and Cake. Cake is getting so focused on the card wars and trying to prove, mainly to herself, I guess, that she is worthy of playing the card games, when initially in issue 1 she was so shunned out by the fact that she wasn't a member of the club and she was a girl and all this other stuff. But now she's getting so competitive that she is starting to forget the people around her that helped her get to this level.
It was a very cute issue. I love Fiona and Cake, and I love what they do with these two characters, and we're getting to see all of our favorite characters, except we need more LSP in there. But anyway, very fun to read. You could feel the emotions of all the different characters, very well paced. A little more of a filler than the previous 3 issues that we've had, but I think things are really starting to ramp up, and we'll get to see a very nice conclusion over the next 2.
This won't be the last time we see Fiona and Cake. They are actually going to be including them in a couple of episodes in the latest season of Adventure Time, the upcoming season. So that's really good news because people really resonated with those characters. Next one is Giant Days number 7 from Kaboom. The writer is John Allison, art by Max Serene, and colors by Whitney Kogar. This is my pick of the week, and it was hard. It was hard between this and another one.
Really?
So tough. Absolutely tough, but this was really good.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. It was up there for mine. I don't think it was my pick of the week, though, but it was awesome. I'm so glad that they decided to continue this.
Ongoing series.
Yes.
Until people stop buying it.
Because it is wonderful. All these characters are great, and they're funny, and we get to see a new love starting in the very, very end. I was super excited for that one. Some really great things we're seeing from these books. If you guys haven't been reading them, I definitely recommend that you find it and start.
This issue of Giant Days number 7, just to give you an overview, the characters are all in college, and they're all going through the different things that you go through while you're at that age. So studies are a big thing, but you're also starting to notice relationships with members of the opposite sex or same sex are becoming way more serious. And that's when it gets deeper and more complicated, and that's when you start thinking about it at school even more so than you used to before. And with Giant Days number 7, it gives you the story of what happens when you think you're going to study for something and then you blow it off, and you get that story.
AKA story of Kelli's life.
Yeah. Very true. And then one of the characters that we saw them focus so much in the last arc takes a little bit of a backseat, but I like that because it's okay, well, now things have settled down in her life, and she has to kind of work with the fact that her friends have to accept her new love interest as well. So there's a lot of drama, but I feel like the reason why it was my pick of the week is it was extremely human. All of this was straight up real life. And I know people read comics to escape what we're going through every single day, but it's nice to go back and sort of relive those moments with this cast of characters in Giant Days number 7.
It's nice to know that other people have gone through that too. Mm-hmm. And that's really what this comic gives you. So, great pick of the week. It was very good. Our next book is Jughead number 1. This is written by Chip Zdarsky with art by Erica Henderson.
I ended up picking this one because it caught your attention. It caught your eye. You're like, Chip Zdarsky? You skipped over Jughead and you're like, fucking Chip Zdarsky. You went straight for the writer, and it's like, why haven't we gotten this? It's like, all right, well, I'll get it for her. And I kind of surprised you at home with it. And what'd you think?
I really, really enjoyed it. I won't say I like it as much as the actual new Archie
I agree.
run. But I feel that this gives us more insight. It's really humorous. It has some pop culture thrown in there, which was really interesting to see. And just, the book was really, really fun. And you get to learn a little bit more about these other characters that you don't really get to focus on in the Archie book.
And from an all-star team, fucking Erica Henderson in Unbeatable Squirrel Girl is amazing. What'd you think of her art? Did it complement the Jughead book? Did you like it more here than in Squirrel Girl? Do you like them the same?
I don't like her art as much as Fiona Staples, but that's because Fiona Staples, my girl.
Well, that's like comparing. It's
It's like comparing Kevin Conroy to anybody else.
Sure.
Like, you just, I love Fiona Staples' art. But I feel that Erica Henderson's art really does lend itself well to this comic because it is humorous. And, I kind of feel like, because it's difficult for me to describe her art, I guess.
They're more exaggerated features than in the main Archie comic.
I guess a little more cartoony, whereas Archie's a little more realistic. And to Jughead, I feel like everyone would kind of look this cartoony. And because the world is kind of a game to him is what they're kind of alluding to. So I feel that it does fit well with this book. Really, really fun. Still not as good as Archie, but I did really enjoy this book.
Would you want to subscribe to it moving forward? Jughead 1, 2, 3, 4.
I mean, we're really poor. I would definitely debate it because I did enjoy it, but I don't know if it's enough to spend the extra money every month.
I think we can give number 2 a shot. It was so enjoyable that, I agree. Plus, it's Chip Zdarsky. We love that man. So, next one is Lumberjanes number 19, written by Shannon Waters and Kat Lay, art by Carolyn Nowak, colors by Marta Laiho.
I really enjoyed this one also. We get to learn more about April, who's a character that we haven't really seen a lot of.
And she's a member of the Lumberjanes.
Yes. And it really kind of dives into who she is and sets up a very interesting revelation and growth for this character.
I feel like every arc of Lumberjanes, as you said, it does focus on how a character overcomes a problem and what their personality really is, more than just like a one-off joke that they seem to serve as supporting characters in the past. And I do like that they're taking their time and they're like, okay, well now let's focus on this character's personality and their humor and their problems and how they get upset, and all of that is in here. And with number 19, when you're dealing with mermaids and with her, I feel like it's more popularity and fitting in, and I feel that's very strong, and it's heading its way into another stronger arc from Lumberjanes. The last one being, I think, the strongest one in the series so far.
Agreed.
My favorite one. And now we're going into something that's not quite as strong, but I feel it is lighter, and it kind of needed that. We don't want to go from a strong arc, a heavy arc, into another strong one, so this is good. It's excellent still. Lumberjanes 19.
Moving into our DC books, we have Bizarro number 5 of 6. This is written by Heath Corson with art by Gustavo Duarte and Rafael Albuquerque, and the colorist is Pete Pentazis.
This was my runner-up for pick of the week.
Really?
I was so close. Like, it was so tough. Like, once I read Giant Days, I'm like, I think this is it. But Bizarro, this is so fucking good. We've got one issue left, right? And this fucking issue ends with, like, and when you go back to issue number 1 of Bizarro, you see that Jimmy Olsen is kind of an asshole because he doesn't know Bizarro.
Yeah.
He doesn't know the heart that Bizarro does have. So he's like, why'd I have to travel with this fucking piece of shit? Like, he might as well have said that. And this is the issue where Bizarro knows how Jimmy really initially felt about him. And we've seen them grow as friends in these past 5 issues. But when Bizarro learns about that and he's hurt by it, and you love Bizarro too, you're hurt with him. Like, yeah, Jimmy Olsen, you piece of shit, but you know it's a misunderstanding too. So you're like, don't be hurt, Bizarro. It all goes back to Bizarro. He's the heart of this comic.
Definitely. I wish this was an ongoing because this is so much fun, and even at this point, yes, there's only 1 issue left, but I could see them pulling another 5 issues out of where they've left off. So very upset to see it coming to an end. It was great, and we're gonna see a great conclusion in the end where they're going to come together as friends, of course. I mean, this is what's going to happen. My favorite part of this book was they end up at a hotel with Lex Luthor, one of Lex Luthor's hotels, and they get upgraded to, like, this master suite. And I kind of see that as Luthor doing this for Bizarro because we had that book where he was connected to Bizarro. And so that was my favorite part of this book. And that's just something that they didn't even allude to. I just kind of pulled it from previous knowledges of this character.
And to people wondering, like, what the hell's the Chupacabra doing with these guys? Like, you get your answers in this. And X-Files fans, buy this book. Buy number 4 and number 5, because you'll get a lot of references in this. And the fact that they even give character to the Chupacabra, it's like, holy shit, this guy's really this person? Like,
yeah, he's a badass.
It's like, that was amazing to me. So it all just came... so much completion with number 5 that I adore this comic, and it's a shame that Giant Days had to come out on this week, because otherwise this definitely would have been my pick of the week. Continuing with DC, next is Gotham Academy number 11, written by Becky Cloonan and Brendan Fletcher, art by Carl Kerschel and Mingju Helen Chen, with colors by Serge Lapointe and Masasik.
This was very close to my Pass of the Week, but I don't think it's my Pass of the Week.
If I had to pick one, I think this would be mine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Don't think this is mine. It was very close, though. Maps is really the only character I care about at this point.
She's a lot of fun.
Right. A lot of fun. I loved seeing her interact with Robin in this book. The rest of everybody else, who cares?
It's so weird because Gotham Academy has probably improved the most in terms of visuals than any other comic that we're picking up. Mm-hmm. This comic, more than anything, shows that, like, in the dark scenes that initially they struggled a lot with, where it looked awful, but now what they're doing is they're making the characters pop more by not adding shading to the characters and then leaving the backgrounds as they have been doing them. So compared to the like a fiery background, like the characters, you can see them very clear.
Right.
They're 2D, they're gorgeous. They look awesome. The pencils are there, the colors are there, the line work is beautiful. And yeah, it's great. I love this look to it. Keep it at this. And Mingju Helen Chen's flashback was absolutely gorgeous. And the last time we saw her artwork was in the Damien issue, where she did the entire comic, and that was absolutely gorgeous. So there's a lot to like in this comic, but it's still suffering that same problem, and I'm going to give it one more issue because of this, and that it's not staying focused. Like now we're going into like, well, we need to see the history and we need to find Silverlock's mom. It's like, okay, so now we're going in that direction. In the previous one we were talking about Clayface's clone, but
before
we touched on that, but
Man-Bat things,
the Twilight weirdo story thing that they were going with, but no, we're going to put that in the back burner now. It's like, pick something and just follow it through and finish the arc, then go to the next arc, then go to the next one. Do that. And if they continue with Silverlock's story, cool, but I mean, you're stretching all the readers out at this point.
Yeah, and that's probably why it was close to my past also, is there was just so much going on that it was difficult for me to follow. Like, I understand this is where we're going, but then we see the lady, and is she really there or is she really not? I'm kind of confused. And then at the end it's, oh, this kid's been kidnapped. Where did that come from? So definitely understand everything that you're saying. And it frustrates me because it has so much potential. It's a great idea. And they can't deliver. And unfortunately, like you said, we'll give it another issue.
Next is what I think is going to be your pick of the week.
Stop it. Yes, it is. So we have Justice League number 45. This is written by Jeff John with art by Francis Manapul, and the colors are Francis Manapul and Brian Buccellato,
who we saw previously on Flash, New 52, and also Detective Comics. Mm-hmm. They just got off of that book. Fucking beautiful comic.
It was awesome.
One. Beautiful book.
It was amazing. We got gods popping up all over the place. People, killing babies, no, there weren't really any babies. But really, really cool. My mind is blown because it's like, this person's a god. Now this person's a god. And I'm just like, whoa, it won't stop. And it's going to be so cool next issue if they can pull this off all together and have all these different guys. And Superman's finally a badass. Good for him. It was awesome.
Yes and no. I was like, oh, I like Lex Luthor. Like, I like him on the Justice League.
Okay, I get, but then he becomes something cooler.
Yeah, he does. Like,
they're all super badasses now. Like, they were already badasses, but now they're even more badasses. And then Batman's all like, peace out, yo, I'm gonna go be the Batman that Gotham really needs. And I'm like, you do that, Batman.
This is the issue in which it's like, here's the fallout, now here's where the pieces are going to be set for the next portion of this huge arc. So it's like, you thought that was it? No, this is going to continue. Even the January solicitation.
That was the previews.
There's like the Dark Side War is still going in January. Now here's something I do want to talk about, and I want to get your opinion on this.
Okay.
Someone on Twitter tweeted to Jeff Johns, and they said, I'm loving the Dark Side War. Why didn't you guys build this up into a huge event with tie-ins? And Jeff Johns retweeted that, tagged Dan DiDio with a winky face. So it sounds like he wanted it to be a huge event with tie-ins. I like it the way it is.
Yes.
Focused, just keep it at Justice League. You're giving us our one-shots, which are great, especially now that I know where all these members are coming from. It's like, okay, so that's where we're getting these characters, and now I want to read those one-shots. But don't tie this into like, well, you got to pick up Superman and you got to pick up Batman. Like, this is good. Keep it focused. As we said previously with Gotham Academy, this is all you need to read. And it's very easy for me to sell, to be like, just Justice League, number 40 to number 45, whatever the current one is. That's all you need. Leave it there. What do you think? You agree too, or?
Yes, definitely. I feel they've tried to do all these events with tie-ins, and I feel like at this point, like, I'm tired of that. I'm tired of having to spend all these extra money because I just want to read this one story, but then it's not by the same writer who's doing the main story, so then I don't like it. But we've spent money on it because we wanted to see where the story was going. So I really like the way it is. Just keep it in this one book. It's fucking amazing. Like, they're doing such a great job with it. Keep it that way. Don't touch it.
There you go.
Our next book is actually my pass of the week. It is Secret Six, number 7. This is written by Gail Simone with art by Dale Eaglesham and Tom Derrick, and the colorist is Jason Wright.
I'm kind of shocked this was your pass of the week, because there's some good Strix bits in this, and that's your favorite of the Secret Six.
It is, and yes, there are some good Strix moments, but we get into that part of DC that I don't like, where it's all the supernatural and all these people are sitting around talking about this character. What I would have rather have, because they're talking about Black Alice and Black Alice. And how, she's going to shut down the whole magical world, da 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 da. Rather than, like, tell me that, give me a flashback where it alludes to that.
So I see what you're saying. So it's more of a writing problem where it's exposition or dialogue instead of action.
Right. I mean, there was some of that. There were characters that I just don't care about to begin with, i.e. all the supernatural side of DC.
I don't know. I thought it was kind of fun to see them in, like, this meeting. Like, all our powers are going away because of Black Alice, so we need to kill her. And Constantine was there. We saw Swamp Thing was there. If Sandman was fucking there, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm in. But obviously we haven't had that crossover yet. I don't know, I didn't have as much of a problem with this comic as you did. I think what really sold it for me and what made it worth the $2.99 was the fact that Etrigan shows up, and I'm like, fuck yes, fucking Etrigan, and he's so cool in this.
I only like baby Etrigan.
And it has that Gail Simone humor where, he's trying to be serious, and then someone hits him, and he's like, hey, you knock it off. And then he's trying to be serious again with his rhymes, and again, he gets hit by Strix or some shit. It's like, that is fucking hilarious. I love that Gail Simone does that. That's her humor. And we saw that with Etrigan, with Strix. I'm like, what's not to like about this? But yeah, it does deal with that side of DC that you don't enjoy. So I can see why you didn't like it, but I really enjoyed it still.
Well, good. Glad somebody enjoyed it.
So what do you want to? How could number 8 improve in your eyes? What would it just have to stick with Etrigan? Zatanna is going to be in here at some point.
Well,
just
Zatanna
focus on the Secret Six.
Was in here already. I don't. I liked it when it was just the Secret Six and you saw them trying to become a family and misfits becoming a group.
We'll see some of that in here.
Okay, so focus more on them fighting this group and less on the actual group being supernatural. I don't know. I don't like the supernatural side of DC. It's very hard for me to get into it. And I don't know why. It's not for me. You
know what was worth the $2.99 though?
What?
Seeing the ventriloquist dummy in a fucking cheerleader costume with his fucking underwear sticking out.
Pink panties. It's adorable.
Next comic is Teen Titans Go number 12, which is our last one on the list, written by Shali Fish, art by Lea Hernandez and Dario Brizuela, with colors by Jeremy Lawson.
So funny.
It was hilarious.
I love this series.
Split into 2 stories, first one being about blind dates for Raven and Starfire, the second one being about Opposite Day with the whole Teen Titans.
Yep. Both were really, really fun, really humorous. We get to see Robin trying to keep Starfire from going on all these different dates. And of course, hilarity ensues, especially with the people who are showing up trying to take these girls out on dates.
Some of them are grown men.
Yeah.
I'm like, the fucking Martian Manhunter? I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? You're a grown-ass man. You're a grown-ass alien. But I guess you're an alien, so I guess it's fine because it's Starfire. I don't know. It was a little weird to me. A little bit.
You're like, I need an adult.
I don't know about this. Like, Chris Hansen should be popping up anywhere.
Why don't we take a seat over here? That would have been great.
How do you know Starfire? You said you wanted to blank her blank.
Gross.
And I like that we saw the other version of Sandman, the third version of Sandman in the DC universe. Like, there's the 2 more popular ones, and then this third one. And he's like, I have a flute. How can I not be popular?
Then he cries. It was great.
That was so fucking funny. And I've gone through back issues. It's like, first appearance of Sandman. I was like, what? That's not the Sand. So I was tricked. Like, he's wearing orange.
The comic got you.
Yeah, it fucking got me. And the opposite one, it's just them playing with their personalities because their Robin is lazy and the Beast Boy is actually very
intelligent.
Yeah, intelligent and disciplined. So that was a fun one too. But I think my favorite one was that first one. Yeah, the blind date.
Made the comic totally worth it. It was a lot of fun.
On to my DC collectible.
Yes, okay. You've been wanting to talk about this forever.
Yes.
Go ahead and talk about your DC collectible.
Batman, the animated series, Batmobile. The fucking Batmobile, the greatest fucking Batmobile of all time. No argument there. Season 1 through 3 Batmobile from Batman the Animated Series. Made just for me. Like, I've been... Like, when they were doing these Batman the Animated Series action figures... I said if they can just make the Batmobile, that would be perfect. And they fucking finally done it. It's huge. It fits all the current DC Batman Animated Series action figures. You can actually put them in the fucking Batmobile, and it looks perfect. They could not have done this any better. Perfect.
He's so excited. He looks like a kid on Christmas right now.
I am a kid. Every time I fucking look at that thing, it's like they couldn't. I don't know. It makes me so happy the fact that they did this and it looks. They did it right. They took the time. The wheels churned. The wheels are real. They did it in the exact same proportions that they had in the animated series. So it's super ridiculously long. Like this thing probably couldn't churn in real life, and it's perfect. It's exactly right, and it lights up.
And it lights up.
Fucking lights up. The front little things, like when you saw in the opening, dun 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 dun, like the Batmobile coming out, and you see the little headlights. So iconic. As a child watching that, beautiful. The back when the flames come out of the Batmobile. Why did it come out of it? Because the Tim Burton fucking movies did it, but then the animated series made it its own. Somehow it made it go faster. Just fire in the back of your fucking ass, like that. I bought it. Like I still buy it. That lights up. And then when you open up the console, you turn that shit on, you see all the little computer, the back computer where the characters are, all of that lights up. So you have 3 different areas where it all lights up. Takes 3 batteries, AA, fine. So what?
Take all the batteries.
Take all the batteries, take all the money, $100, absolutely worth it. Perfect. Better than the action figures. Better than any of the other statues that they could have done with the animated series. This is it. They're not going to top this for me. Ever. Never going to top this. They can make a metal version of this. This is awesome. Perfect price, perfect size.
They made like a real one that you could drive.
But then I'd have to pay more. Like this is the perfect price for me.
Okay.
Like we're broke, yes?
Yes.
$100 for this big ass Batmobile that lights up.
Worth it.
I've reserved it. I've been saving up for it, and it's just done. It's done, and it's great. Go into the specifics, because that's all I'm gonna say. I'm just gonna fanboy. I'm just gonna jizz all over the Batmobile. That's all I'm doing.
So it features a working exterior and interior lights, like you said, and is scaled to fit 2 6-inch action figures from the line of
fucking
action figures.
Seatbelts. There's seatbelts that come off and they can put them on the fucking thing. Put them on the figure. You can take them off and put them on.
So it measures 24 inches long. Batteries are not included.
Fine.
And like you said, it does take 3 AA batteries.
So great. So what are your thoughts on them?
I mean, it's okay.
It's your favorite Batmobile too.
Yes, it is my favorite Batmobile. Man, I don't know. Like, I'm so happy it makes you happy. That's my favorite part of this thing, is how much joy. Like, I expect to come home every day and just see you on your stomach, like, kicking your little feet in the air, like,
fuck you, Joker.
Look
fuck
out,
you, Riddler.
Catwoman. Like, that's what I expect to see.
Let's go pick up Talia.
And that's perfect, because that's what this should do for people. Is it should make them this excited. You should feel like a kid again. You should feel like you're watching this show for the first time again. And they captured that with this, and that's amazing. And like you said, for the price point, it's a perfect price point. It's a great product that they brought out. It's awesome. If it were me by myself, would I have bought it? Probably not, because it would just sit on a shelf and I'd be like, yep, there it is, cool. But the fact that they made it something that you can display or play with.
the wheels churn, like the front wheels churn.
Yeah, but you gotta like turn him yourself.
Whatever. Like, and even the wheel, like it goes forward and backwards, like in the show. Like he can have it go up and down. Like it's like the show straight up.
See, I would just get this and have Batman take Catwoman on dates.
No, you don't know how to play with this toy.
I mean, apparently.
And it's a toy. I don't care any collectible people that are like, it's a collectible. No, this is a fucking toy, and I'm fucking playing with it. The Batmobile is a toy. This is a toy.
I loved when he went in to pick this up, and you were having the debate with yourself out loud, like, well, I could just leave it in the box, or I could play with it. I'm like, you're gonna play with it, please. Don't even pretend. And you're like, well, but I could just leave it in the box. And then the second we got it, it was out of the box.
Of course it was. Even months ago when we talked about the solicitation, I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking take that shit out of the box. Of course I am. That shit's coming out. And even the case, like, that's the one thing that people are like, well, the casing could have been clear so you can see the Batmobile if you don't want to open it up. But it's like, fuck you, open up the fucking Batmobile and play with it like I am. It's awesome. It's absolutely gorgeous. They couldn't have done they couldn't have improved this for the price that it is, $100. They could not have made this better. And it was much bigger than I expected. Mm-hmm. Way bigger than I expected. And it just makes me so happy that my favorite Batmobile I can play with and I can have. And they came out with this years ago. And I didn't grow up in the wealthiest of, we were poor growing up. So I never had that Batmobile, and thankfully I'm fortunate enough where now I can have a better version of it. It was created with care, with people like me in mind that grew up with the cartoon and that are collecting the animated series figurines as they come out. And we just got the Batman season 1 through 3 Batman that released, and it fits so well, and that's it. That's all I have to say about it.
Perfection.
That's my favorite. If we do top DC collectibles of the year in January, this is it. Like, I'm telling you right now, the Batmobile is it for the next forever until I no longer exist. That is amazing.
All right, guys. So on that wonderfully energetic note, that does do it for our podcast this week. So just to remind you all, my pick of the week was Justice League number 45.
And mine was Giant Days number 7.
You can make your pick of the week the Batmobile. That's okay.
If I could, I would. If I read the Batmobile, I'd do it.
My pass of the week was Secret 6 number 7.
And my pass of the week was Gotham Academy number 11.
You can make the Batmobile your pass of the week,
Never.
too. I know.
Never,
I know. I joked with him the day he got it that, like, I was going to walk upstairs and it would be on my side of the bed, and he'd be like, Kelly, you can have the couch. Pretty sure that might still happen.
So we do want to thank all of you. We want to thank Dr. Philip Center, the Brokettes for listening, the Patreon supporters, all of you out there. The fact that you tune in, the fact that you interact with us, the questions of the week, all of that helps us out, and it keeps us going with the podcast every single week. We're very happy to share our excitement for the comics, for the collectibles, for the news that releases as we all see the latest movie together or read the latest comics.
You can follow us on Twitter at Reasons I'm Broke. Let us know what you thought of the show this week. If you picked up the Batmobile, let us know what you thought of that. Our favorite thing is to hear from you guys and respond to any questions that you have for us.
If you want to find the link to all of this, you can head on over to nerdupmedia.com, click on the Reasons I'm Broke tab or on the logo. It'll show you a link to everywhere you can find this, including the podcast and different sources for that too. And while you're there, you can check out the other shows that we have on there, other podcasts like Those Two Jerks and Let's Plays like The Lazy Gaming Guys.
Also, while you're on the site, you can head on over to shop. While you're there, you can pick up a Nerd Up Media t-shirt. They come in a bunch of different sizes for men and women in a variety of colors. We also have an exclusive purple The Reasons I'm Broke t-shirt.
For a donation of $16.99, and that includes shipping, we can have the shirt. Head on over to you, Nerd Up Media or The Reasons I'm Broke, and that'll ship straight to you, and it helps out the show as well.
So guys, now we're wrapping up, so you can all jump up and head out to pick up your Batmobile, because we all know that's what you're headed to do. Thank you so much for listening and all of your continued support. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Daniel.
We'll see you next week.